गाइस, इस वीडियो में आप लोग जानोगे क्या नेचर के माइंडलेस प्रोसेस ने खुद ब खुद जिंदगी बना ली थी और क्या इंसानों ने भी जिंदगी बना ली है। और मिलर यूरी ने अमीनो एसिड बना लिया था, तो क्या इससे अब जिंदगी वजूद में आ जाएगी और क्या हम ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ ढूंढ चुके हैं। चलें वीडियो को शुरू करते हैं। तो अस्सलाम वालेकुम गाइस, कैसे हैं आप सब। चलें मैं आपको प्रोफेसर जेम्स स्टुअर्ट की क्लिप सुनवाता हूँ। पहले ये जान लें कि प्रोफेसर जेम्स स्टुअर्ट कौन है।
I got my PhD in the field of organic chemistry, postdoc at Stanford University. Joined the group of a man who was going to win a Nobel Prize in chemistry. Voted one of the top 50 most influential minds in the world. I was a visiting scholar at Harvard University. I've spoken at every major university in this country. Have over 650 research publications. Voted the R&D magazine Scientist of the Year. I'm in the National Academy of Inventors. I'm a member of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. Over 120 patents. Started 7 or 8 companies. We work in areas that range from medicine to material science to electronics, computer memory, medical devices. We work across a broad range of areas.
तो जेम्स स्टुअर्ट परफेक्टली सिचुएटेड है इस टॉपिक पे बात करने के लिए। तो जैसे ही हम इंटरनेट पे सर्च करते हैं ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ को, तो हमें दिखाया जाता है कि जैसे हम बहुत करीब हैं लाइफ बनाने के, बहुत ही ज्यादा। लेकिन क्या एक्सपर्ट ये मानते हैं? चलें सुनते हैं प्रोफेसर जेम्स स्टुअर्ट से।
I'm a synthetic organic chemist. Origin of life is purely synthetic organic chemistry. There's no way around it. I'm perfectly situated to be commenting on this, to be critiquing the origin of life research. It is abiological. It is before biology takes over. This is purely synthetic organic chemistry. And making these compounds is very simple. 4 classes of compounds. You have to make them from what's available on a presumed prebiotic earth. And so the chemistry is not hard for a synthetic organic chemist to follow. And any trained synthetic organic chemist can follow me on this. And I've never seen a synthetic organic chemist disagree with me on this. In fact, the people that might disagree with me are biologists because they've never made anything. The only thing they may have made is they buy a kit and they make it, which is made by chemists, but they've never made anything ab initio. And so it's the synthetic chemist that can critique origin of life research better than anyone else. So go ahead, ask your synthetic chemist friends to listen to what I have to say. If they have anywhere a master's degree or beyond in synthetic organic chemistry, have them critique what I say.
सो जेम्स स्टुअर्ट परफेक्टली सिचुएटेड है इस टॉपिक पे बात करने के लिए। तो जैसे ही हम इंटरनेट पे सर्च करते हैं ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ को, तो हमको दिखता है जैसे हम बहुत करीब हों लाइफ बनाने के। इस तरीके के आर्टिकल्स लिखे गए हैं बहुत ही ज्यादा, जैसे कि हम बहुत करीब हों लाइफ बनाने के।
Little pictures of molecules coming together to form the first cell are fallacious, are ridiculous. The origin of life community has not been honest. They will write in their very papers, they will see some small phenomena and extrapolate what this means in the context of origin of life. And then they will work with the press, and the press will extrapolate it all the more. And you get many, many people deceived, thinking that life has been all but made. All of this is a lie.
तो सुना आपने, हम लाइफ बनाने के आसपास भी नहीं है। छोटी छोटी चीजें ऐसे मीडिया में उछाल दिया जाता है, ऐसे लगता है कि हमने लाइफ को ढूंढ लिया है। असल में सच्चाई ये नहीं है। और दोस्तों, आपने ये भी सुना होगा कि इस नेचर के अंदर केमिकल्स ने खुद ब खुद एक्सीडेंटली लाइफ स्टार्ट कर दी होगी, लेकिन ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। जैसे जैसे हम एक सेल की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को देख रहे हैं, ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ ढूंढना बहुत मुश्किल होता जा रहा है। जेम्स स्टुअर्ट की क्लिप सुनिए।
Scientist Craig Venter creates life for the first time in a laboratory.
We're here today to announce the first synthetic cell.
They haven't created life, nowhere close. What they did is they took a cell. They took the genome out of that cell, they manufactured a genome that's similar to it and they put it in. That is akin to taking an engine out of a Ford and putting it into a Buick and then saying, look, I created automobiles. No, you just took one piece, and it's not even the engine, it's just the computer control box you took out of one car and you put it in another car. That's what it was like. But the design of the computer control box you got from other cells.
दोस्तों, क्या हो अगर हमें लाइफ बनाने के लिए सारा मटेरियल भी दे दिया जाए, तो क्या लाइफ बन जाएगी? क्या सिंथेटिक केमिस्ट भी यही मानते हैं? चलें सुनते हैं प्रोफेसर जेम्स स्टुअर्ट से।
The simplest bacterium with its 256 protein coding genes, we have no idea how to build it. First of all, we don't know how to build the molecules, the 4 classes of molecules that are needed for it. We don't know how to, even if we had those 4 classes of molecules, assemble them even into the simplest of bacteriums. We don't know how to do that. One can do that with the technologies we have today. We can make technologies, but we can't even make the simplest bacterium. Anybody who would say something contrary does not know what they are talking about. Show me the demonstration. Nobody has ever done it. And it's not because of lack of effort. It's not because of lack of will. First of all, they haven't been able to get the molecules to do this. And if they could make the molecules, even if we were to give them the molecules, they wouldn't have the information. There would be no inherent information in the DNA. But even if we gave them the DNA in the structure that they wanted, they wouldn't know how to put all the components together because of the sophistication within a cell. The interactomes, meaning that the interacting connectivity between the molecules, the van der Waals interactions, all of these have to be in the right place and in the right order for a cell to function. We don't even know how to define life, let alone knowing how to spark it to begin.
तो सुना आपने, हमें मटेरियल भी दे दिया जाए तब भी हम नहीं जानते ये कैसे बनेगा। इनफैक्ट अगर हमें करेक्ट सीक्वेंस में भी मॉलिक्यूल को दे दिया जाए तब भी हम लाइफ नहीं बना पाएंगे। मतलब हम लाइफ बनाने के आसपास भी नहीं है। हमें कोई आइडिया नहीं है कि सिंपल से सिंपल लाइफ भी कैसे बनती है। चले मैं आपको जेम्स स्टुअर्ट की क्लिप सुनवाता हूँ, वो मिलर-यूरी एक्सपेरिमेंट के बारे में क्या कहते हैं। क्लिप सुनिए।
Components. So the Gedanken experiment is this: even if I gave you all the components, even if I gave you all the amino acids, all the protein structures from those amino acids that you wanted, all the lipids in the purity that you wanted, the DNA, the RNA, even in the sequence that you wanted, so I'm even giving you the code. And so now I say, and all the nucleic acids, can you now assemble a cell here in your individual bodies, not in your individual laboratories, not in a prebiotic cesspool, but in your nice laboratory? And the answer is a resounding no. And if anybody claims otherwise, they do not know this area. People have been trying for a long time. If we just take Miller-Urey as the first example, where Miller and Urey took some basic chemicals that are presumed on a prebiotic earth, hydrogen cyanide, formaldehyde, and CO2, and they put those across a high voltage, simulating lightning, you can get some racemic amino acids out of those. But those racemic amino acids were racemic. Okay, that was in 1952. That was 2/3 of a century ago. What has happened in 2/3 of a century since Miller-Urey in other fields? Well, we've had human space flight. We have satellite connectivity. We have the internet. We have the entire silicon era of microchips, and we have computer technology. We have all of this. In the same 66 years, 2/3 of a century, we are still exactly where Miller and Urey were. We make a barrage of stereo-scrambled chemicals, nowhere close to even knowing how to make them and hook them together. They got to get hooked together in the proper order. We are clueless on this.
और क्या हो अगर हमारे पास बहुत ज्यादा टाइम हो तो क्या हम अमीनो एसिड से प्रोटीन बना सकते हैं? क्या लाइफ बनना पॉसिबल हो सकता है? क्या टाइम ज्यादा होने से सब कुछ हो सकता है? चले सुनते हैं प्रोफेसर जेम्स स्टुअर्ट इस बारे में क्या कहते हैं। क्लिप सुनिए।
Time is actually the enemy. You let these chemicals that have been made sit around. They show the degradation in a period of weeks. Weeks is the twinkling of an eye when it comes to prebiotic timescales. The chemicals decompose. So to think that the molecules could be made and sit there waiting for other molecules to come in, it doesn't happen. Organic chemistry doesn't work that way.
तो सुना आपने सिंथेटिक केमिस्ट जेम्स स्टुअर्ट ने क्या कहा कि टाइम एक्चुअली दुश्मन है। तो गाइस ये तो आपको पता होगा कि बेजान चीज से जानदार चीजें बनी हैं, जिसे अबायोजेनेसिस कहते हैं। मैं भी यही मानता हूँ, क्योंकि बिग बैंग के बाद सब कुछ बेजान ही था और फिर जानदार चीजें आई हैं। लेकिन मैं ये नहीं मान सकता हूँ कि जो काम आज के साइंटिस्ट करने से भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, अपना माइंड यूज करके नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, वो काम नेचर के माइंडलेस प्रोसेस ने बिलियन साल पहले खुद ब खुद कर दिया। मतलब नेचर का माइंडलेस प्रोसेस इतना स्मार्ट नहीं हो सकता है कि वो बेजान से जानदार चीज बना ले। प्रोफेसर जेम्स स्टुअर्ट भी यही मानते हैं। क्लिप सुनिए।
The structures that are needed. One needs the amino acids. The amino acids then have to hook together to form proteins. It's not easy to get amino acids to hook together. One can get very small amounts if you just add a catalyst to it, but the yields are extremely low. There are many activation steps that are needed to get this efficiently. In nature, in biology, once you have life, this is all done with nature's little nanomachines called enzymes. But what we're talking about is prebiotic, long before enzymes themselves are made, and the enzymes themselves are made out of amino acids and proteins. Then after we have the amino acids, we've got to have the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are another class of molecules. And then you have to hook the carbohydrates together. The carbohydrate hooking together pattern is extremely complex. Just the carbohydrate, the simple carbohydrate, D-mannose. If you just make 6 units of that D-mannose, that D-mannose can be hooked together in over 1 trillion different combinations, depending on how they're branched and what the constitution is of the primary linkage point. Over 12 trillion combinations, and only one works. Only one will work. How do you get that?
और एक तो हम लाइफ बनाने के आसपास भी नहीं है, और दूसरा ये कि हम जैसे जैसे सेल की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को समझ रहे हैं, वैसे वैसे हमें ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ ढूंढना मुश्किल होता जा रहा है। क्लिप सुनिए।
With all of origin of life research going on, the problem is becoming harder all the time, not easier. And the reason it's become harder is because we understand more about the complexity of a cell.
तो सुना आपने, हमें ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ ढूंढना मुश्किल होता जा रहा है क्योंकि सेल बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है। और दोस्तों, सेल की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को समझने के लिए चलते हैं डॉगलर एक्स के पास।
To get an idea of the complexity of a living cell, think of a factory with thousands of pieces of machinery all working together to do some coordinated task. A cell is actually far more complicated than that factory because factories don't maintain themselves. People have to maintain factories, and factories certainly don't make new factories. Whereas with a living cell, all the parts that wear out are automatically remanufactured within the cell. Not only that, the cell is manufacturing a new cell as well. Human-made factories don't even come close.
Some might suggest that there are certain laws that we don't yet know, undefined laws, that would dictate the origin of first life. It's very hard to comment on something that we don't know anything about. However, one would have to have law upon law upon law upon law, one after another, to make the requisite molecules needed for life, and then to have those requisite molecules assembled. Because even if one had the molecules, which is very hard to do, how do you do the assembly? We don't know how to do that. Now, if there's some law to do this, remember, just the interactome, just the protein-protein interactions within a single yeast cell, the 3,000 proteins, it's 10 to the 79 billion power on the possible combinations of just the interactome. How do you get those to order? Of course, there is a large cascade of arrays that can get these to order, but that always has life spawning life. We don't dehydrate cells and get them to work together again. Cells will split and pass that information along to other cells. We don't know how to spark these things, and it can't happen from a single unknown law. You'd have to have unknown law upon unknown law upon unknown law. It takes a lot of faith to do that. I'm not sure I have that level of faith.
मेरे पास भी इतना फेथ नहीं है कि मैं ये बिलीव करूं कि सेल एक्सीडेंटली बन गया। और दोस्तों, मेरा भी यही मानना है, पहला सेल बनने के पीछे एक सुप्रीम बीइंग का हाथ था।